just over a year ago now. We was finishing up a tour that we was on at that time, and it was just north of San Francisco, and I ran into an old buddy of mine I hadn't seen for years, a guy named Wavy Gravy. And if that name rings a bell, it's because he was the announcer in the Woodstock movie, the guy saying, "Don't take the brown exit, man." Whatever. And I just loved him, and hadn't seen him in a long time, and we pulled the tour bus around the back of the place we was playing, and he was standing right there. So I jumped off the bus, gave him a big hug. We sat down on a bench there, and we was both trying to reminisce, but neither one of us could remember anything. So we sat there looking at each other, and eventually we got to talking about what was at that time the upcoming 45th anniversary of the Woodstock Festival, and we was getting annoyed because we found out they was trying to put together some kind of reunion, something or other thing, whatever it was, and we thought it was wrong. I mean, 45 is great for a birthday, you know, you want to celebrate an anniversary, fine. But you don't celebrate Woodstock on the 45th. You wait for the 50th. And so we talked ourselves into a frenzy until we called the promoter and we said, "What the hell are you guys thinking?" They said, "Well, we was thinking about the 50th, but you might all be dead by then." You had a point. I remember the 40th, that was bad enough. By that time, we was well entrenched in this 24/7 news cycle, people talking all the time about whatever it is. And just prior to the 40th anniversary of the Woodstock Festival, they was trying to get a hold of anybody that had anything at all to do with Woodstock for their big 30-second story on the subject. And I was hiding out from them. I didn't want to talk to them. They was all asking the same stuff. It was like, "Arlo, what was it like, man, being at Woodstock, dude?" I thought they don't actually talk like that except to me. So that was annoying enough. And I told them all the same thing anyhow. I said, "Hey, I just remember getting there." It's not a whole interview worth, you might say. And I remember some stuff, don't get me wrong. I remember earlier that year, 1969, I had bought a new car. It was one of these checkers that they used to use for taxis, you know, in some of the big cities. And, you know, they were popular because you could put like entire families in one car. And so I wanted one thinking, man, I could get the whole band in something like that. And sure enough, it was me and all my guitars and all my stuff. And a guy with a big double bass back in those days and all of his stuff. Another guy with a full set of drums and all of his stuff. Another friend of mine played guitars and all of his stuff, and their girlfriends, all of their stuff, and we hadn't even opened the trunk yet. I miss that. I know I'm supposed to like the stupid little cars we got, but I don't. I like the big ones. Not just because they were big, they was built. I remember my wife took it down the highway one time, pulled off an exit ramp, come to a stop, and a big semi-truck come right up behind her, smacked right into her. The truck died. She drove home and said she thought something happened. That's what America makes in cars, man. I miss that. And so we went to Woodstock like that. And of course, the closer we got to it, the more traffic there was, until it finally come to a dead standstill. And people just got out and started walking, even though it was miles away. And so they rerouted us to some motel, and they was going to fly us into the site in a helicopter. And I was so excited about that, because I was a kid. I'd never been in nothing like it. So it was me and Richie Havens, some others, and we get in this chopper, and the thing takes off, and the door stays open. And no matter how high we went, there was people as far as the eye could see in every direction. And in the chopper with us was 2 New York State troopers, one on either side of the open door. On one side, there was a big John Wayne kind of guy. On the other side was a little Barney Fife kind of guy. And they was looking down there, same as us, you know. And I remember the big one looked at the little one and said, "There's a lot of hippies down there." The little one said, "Yep." The big one said, "I bet they're doing lots of illegal stuff." And the little one said, "Yep." Then the big one said, "Well, I'm not going down there, nothing, are you?" The little one said, "Nope." That's when I realized we were going to have a pretty good time at that festival. And I was not mistaken. I got there on the first day of that 3-day event, and I thought I was playing on the second day, so I figured I had the time off. And I'm walking around backstage saying hi to people like you would imagine. And eventually I'll wander out on this big field with hundreds of thousands of other people, mud, rain, total catastrophes of all kinds, and I was doing what everybody else was doing. So at some point later that afternoon, I had a serious case of the munchies. I needed to get something to eat, something to drink, and there was nothing. So I thought, I'll go backstage. Went backstage looking for food, there was none. All they had backstage was 147 cases of champagne they're saving for the end of the event. By the end of the first evening, that was gone. I don't remember how many cases I was personally responsible for, but between that and the other stuff we was doing that day, it came as a surprise when somebody come up and said, "Arlo, you got to play now, man." I said, "I can't play now, man. I'm not even here now, man. I'm coming tomorrow." They said, "No, you're here now, man. You got to play now, man." I said, "I can't play now, man. I can't walk now, man." They said, "We don't care about that. Richie Haven's been up playing for hours and nobody else. You got to play now, man." And I was too young to realize I could have said no. So I grabbed my big 12-string guitar, walk out on this huge stage, and in the middle of that big stage, they had a circular stage built right in. So while the guys in front was playing, you could set guys up behind them. And when they was done playing up front, just twist the stage around. Not be wasting time breaking down the first band, setting up the second one. It was a great idea. I mean, it didn't work, but it was a great idea. And in the middle of the circular stage, they had a big hole for all the cables and mic lines, wires, all that kind of stuff. They didn't tell me about the hole. I wasn't looking for the hole. I'm looking at more people I knew I'd ever see again in my life at one time. And I was looking at them like you could back then. Each one individually. That's when I remember falling through time and space. And then the most unbelievable thing happened. I moved through the molecular structure of the wood itself. And I rematerialized on the other side of the hole on stage, almost completely intact. That was my memory of it. Mommy and it from London.